At it again. We got a hilarious story today. I mean, it's also pretty sad. It's a story of the supply of racism not meeting the demand. Democrats have a very, very high demand for racism, but the demand is up here and the supply is way down here. So that creates this gap, which is a huge issue when they want to yell and scream about racism, 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 right? Like they always do every 4 years, right before the election. Racism, racism, racism. And in this case, you got a Democrat getting caught, pulling a little Jesse Smoochie, okay? Jesse Smollett, if you didn't catch the reference. All right, with that being said, let's dive in.
His political future was bright by many standards. Now a candidate for Fort Bend County Commissioner who once worked in the White House has been arrested. That candidate, Patel, for Fort Bend County Commissioner Precinct 3, has been charged by Texas Rangers. He made an appearance on the Isaiah Factor back in September, where he claimed he was a target of hate and racism. And those claims may be at the center of his criminal probe now.
It's from a very deeply misguided place of fear that immigrants are coming to take people's jobs or things of that nature. And I try to remind folks is I'm not running against anybody. I'm running for the people, all the people of Precinct 3, whether they like me or not. My goal is to better their lives. But unfortunately, what we hear from a kind of polarized environment is it doesn't matter what my policies are. They're coming after my race, my religion, my nationality, which is American. But, I've been called Indian, Pakistani, so many different things that are not even accurate. But our goal is to respond back with love.
That was Patel on The Factor last year when he claimed he was a victim of racism in the political race for county commissioner. Our sources say his arrest is related to the allegations he made in the interview and in others, where he claimed people were sending him hate messages online and through social media. Our high-level source tells The Factor the Texas Rangers are investigating if those claims of hate and racism were totally made up by Patel, who is still running as Democrat for the seat. He is charged with online impersonation, a felony, and a misdemeanor charge of misrepresentation of identity. So, Charles, when we take a look at the allegations and the criminal charges against Mr. Patel, your thoughts on what this is all about?
Well, I'm hearing some whispers that this is about him allegedly creating fake identities to then make hateful comments towards him so that he can seek media attention. Now, I don't know if this is true, but if it is true, right, this is a very appropriate prosecution. They are filing a misrepresentation of identity, which is a Class A misdemeanor, and an online impersonation charge, which is a third-degree felony, up to 10 years in prison, both found not in the penal code, but in the election code. And it's designed to prevent people from interfering with the outcomes of elections by misinformation.
So when you have an individual who totally makes something up to win an election, they go after you this way, the state rangers.
Well, it can be the Texas Rangers. I mean, there's a number of people that can investigate. It's most appropriately with the Rangers, which, of course, are our most elite investigative. Many states have their state version of the FBI, and they call them the Bureau of Investigations. We call them the Texas Rangers here. They're the ones that investigate these type of crimes, and it's important to protect the integrity of our elections. We know Mr. Patel did a media blitz, including on your show, where he talked about the horrors of the racist comments being directed at him by Fort Bend County Republicans. If it's true, that's horrifying, and it should help him. But if they were contrived, if they were make-believe, most importantly, if they were contrived and make-believe by him, and he contrived them merely to help him win an election, well, we can't tolerate that.
And when you make allegations like this, it is disparaging against the other party as well, right?
Right. It's not just disparaging against the other party, but that is the goal.
Or some fictional person out there.
Well, the goal is to make him more attractive to the electorate and to demean his opponent and his opponent's supporters, which is appropriate if it's true. But think about the real context of this. If this was a hoax racism, if he went on your show, sat down and looked you in the eyes, Isaiah, and lied to you, right, and created more racial strife in a country consumed by identity politics right now, that's a horrible disservice. But if he did it with the intent of trying to beat his opponent in an election with lies, falsehoods, while decrying the evils of the Republicans, well, that's just horrible, and it needs to be prosecuted, and I applaud the Rangers for doing such an effective job getting to the truth.
And, of course, he bonded out of jail early this morning. We reached out to Mr. Patel and his campaign manager, have not heard back.
Once again, the supply of racism does not meet the demand. Another classic case. So allegedly, this guy went through the trouble of creating a fake profile to harass himself and to say potentially racist things to himself to make it seem as if the Republicans were saying it to him. Oh man, that is incredible. That is incredible. Democrats will stoop that low to make it seem as if we are the racist party. Now, allegedly, of course. That is incredible. That is incredible. And of course, there's been an investigation. Shout out to the Texas Rangers, okay? There has been a investigation on this situation, and check out how it went.
Within the last hour about the charges against the challenger running for Fort Bend County Precinct 3 Commissioner.
Yeah, he is accused of creating a fake social media account to post racist comments directed at himself.
ABC 13's Rosie Wynn joins us live from the Fort Bend County Jail with new information. Rosie.
Eric and Gina, the Fort Bend County District Clerk just made those charging documents for Thurl Patel available to the public. More than 20 pages that we have spent the last hour sifting through, and the allegations are alarming. Here is what we know so far. Back in October, the DA's office received a request from Precinct 3 Commissioner Andy Meyer to look into who was behind several social media posts directed at his opponent, which is Patel. This came after Patel sent out a press release with a collage of supposed racist social media posts that he claimed were directed at him. Meyer told investigators he recognized one of the accounts behind the comments as Antonio Scallywag. The documents then further detailed how they linked that account back to Patel, including getting a subpoena from Facebook and Google. From there, they were able to obtain account and payment information matching Patel's credit card number, address, phone number, and other personal data. Patel now faces a third-degree felony of online impersonation and Class A misdemeanor for misrepresentation of identity. The DA's office tells us this is the first time that they've charged someone with that specific election-related misdemeanor. Now, we have made efforts all day to try to reach Patel, whether it was through phone, social media, or even the address listed on his candidate filing. We also reached out to his opponent, Precinct 3 Commissioner Andy Meyer, but a spokesperson tells us at this time they have no comment. We're told that Patel did bond out of the jail here early this morning. His next court appearance is on July 22nd.
So they got the information from Facebook and was like, hold on. This address on this card matches this guy's actual home address. So you mean to tell me this person is made by the same guy? Oh man, the desperation, bro. It's truly, it's funny on one hand, but then it's also sad. You know, it's also sad how Democrats are so desperate to create so much anger and division. Like, that's the only way that they could possibly win is through anger and division, right? Like, why not just run on your policies? Like, that would be a great way to run, wouldn't it? You know, just run on your policies. We all know your policies are trash, so it'd be pretty difficult for you. But, you know, for Democrats, trying to, you know, gin up some fake racism, like, come on now, bro. I mean, that's like stupid real low, which I guess we shouldn't be surprised, you know, coming from a Democrat. Allegedly, of course. But it is pretty sad, you know, because it's just like that's not the Republican Party. So when you see this type of stuff, like, we should always question. And that's why when we've seen these images of, and I've always called it out whenever it's happened, and the next time it happens, I'll call it out again. Whenever we see these images of these so-called, you know, right-wing extremists wearing masks and walking around with Confederate flags or the flag upside down and, you know, doing the Nazi salute or whatever, you know, claiming that they're Nazis and whatever else, I'm like, bro, those are feds. Those are feds, or those are Democrats trying to act like they're on the Republican side of the political aisle. Anybody on the Republican side of the political aisle doesn't hide their face. And I've said that before, and all of you agree. Like, any true Republican, when we go out in public and we make a statement, we're not going to hide our face whatsoever. We're going to say what we have to say loud and proud. And if not, we're just not going to say it at all. We're not going to make some fake account try to sneakily say something. We're not going to go out in public, but then wear a mask to cover our face so you don't know who we are. No, we're either going to say it loud and proud, or we're not going to say it at all. There's no in between. There's no in between. So, and here's another case that proves that we aren't the party of racism. So much so that they have to try to create it to make it seem as if we are. How sad is that? How sad. Y'all let me know what you thought about all of this. Crazy story, huh? Crazy story. Peace and love. I'm out.